I gotta start putting different things in, because if I don't start putting different things in, then I don't really learn like how interaction works. Makes it so you can train everything is by understanding those principles. Does that make sense? You know, if I the pot, remember we talked about the vase, but like the use of the vase is to put the beautiful thing in the vase, right? Rather than just let the vase just sit there by itself. So if we're just doing the ego, if we do this for like 4 minutes before one of us goes in, that's really difficult, because what happens is you get in a groove with it. It gets harder. The longer you're in that groove, the harder it is to get out of that groove. You see this, stick down. You see this happening, guys, with hubud. I'll say, all right, show me some hubud, and I will see this for like 90 seconds before somebody goes, huh! Huh? You know, that's kind of what we get. So the benefit in it, honestly, is like, okay, this is just for a moment, right? But then I got to change that. I got to start putting different things in, because if I don't start putting different things in, then I don't really learn like how interaction works. Does that make sense? So there has to be other things that happen in the flow. Otherwise, just, yeah, that's Janet, people. Just relax with it. Pretty tense. There you go. But it's the constant change that's the important thing. It's the adaptation. Does that make sense? So if you're not adapting, you're just doing the same thing over and over again, you're literally just doing the same thing over and over again. It's the constant change that makes us grow. Does that make sense? So when you guys are, grab your stick, when you guys are running the break in, break out, I want you to think like, this is too long now. Right? So I might be like, and I'm in. I wouldn't expect more than a couple to my partner's in. Start with a double. Does that make sense? And you want to start adding your footwork to it. Sense? You got to play it, like put all the pieces, because to just stand here, like you learn it in seminar, it's just like here's a little bit, right? But if like this is how we did it at the seminar, so this is how it will always be done. That's just the beginning. Make sense? That's like sounding out your letters forever versus just learning how to sight read. Make sense? You don't want to sound out your letters forever. Those first principles we talked about. For the instructors, we're talking about different training methodologies, whether it's isolated drills, your defend and return, which we use our bicidario contratus and our ugats for that, whether it's any form of contra sombrata, break in, break out, hubud, contra y contra, free play, it doesn't matter. These are just ones that I rattled off the top of my head. These are not every training method. Do you understand that? But in all these training methods, the first principles apply. That's why they're the first principles. Does that make sense? That's important for you to know. Because every training method you teach, you need to be going back to understanding the first principles. Because it wouldn't have mattered if we started with isolated drills, if we started with the bicidario contratus, if we started with hubud, we just started with break in, break out. Doesn't matter. If you can't aim, if you can't keep eyes on target, it'll fall apart. Because there won't be any real defense because there's no offense, right? If you are so tense that you can't move and get any fluidity, you're not going to get anything out of that. If you're so loose that there's just nothing to you at all, you're not going to get anything out of that, right? If you don't learn to come back to the X and keep the fluidity going with no stopping, then you don't learn how to cover in, cover out. You learn how to stop and then go, oh yeah, I got to make the
Icus.
Correct. How sharp he's getting. Does that make sense? So it all comes back to these first principles. If those are ignored, everything else sucks. That's what makes everything, makes it so you can train everything, is by understanding those principles. Yes, no? So whenever something's going wrong, you go back to it and go, okay, what are we ignoring right? This doesn't feel right. What's wrong? Let's go back to the principles. Oh, I'm not targeting. Totally forgot. Or whatever it might be. Yes, no? It's a way to self-check and troubleshoot. We're going to take about a 15-minute break so you guys can take notes, do what you need to do, grab a drink, protein, energy bar, whatever you got to do. We're going to come back and we're going to jump into more of a Contra Subrata form and figure out, like, how do we take these ideas of changing up, getting in and getting out. And we'll just take some of these ideas that we picked up from today. Cool?
Sir.
All right.